you like logged in immediately as I was typing that. I'm just going to send you the freelance project management contract.
Over Skype?
Yep.
Okay.
Just so you have it, so you can download it there. We also ask, in addition to that, a copy of a photo ID. We do almost all of our interacting outside of like Upwork and Freelancer. So when we first start with people, we like to kind of have a little bit of a record of who we're actually bringing onto the team.
Of course.
So, and one of the reasons we do that, and I don't know if I covered it in the meeting that you were in or not. So we pay via PayPal and Payoneer. And the reason why is because we really think that like Upwork is just robbing you guys blind pretty much with their fees. We do have a few people who just feel more comfortable still using Upwork, but Payoneer, it's something like 3% fees versus 20% fees.
No, I wouldn't use Upwork anyways. Payoneer, I was going to offer Payoneer for us, actually.
Perfect. So I'm glad that you're comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely have found, and we like PayPal as well. It's also more reasonable as far as fees go. But in some of the countries that we work with freelancers in, PayPal is like not accepted or allowed. So we like to have those two options. So whatever works better for you.
Yeah, Payoneer for sure.
Okay, perfect. So on the contract, there's actually a little section for you to fill out how you prefer to be paid so that we can keep track of that.
Good.
So, and then I wanted to go over the payment per project and also kind of what I'll call flexibility with that. And so what I mean is that we pay a standard rate of $135 for a project completion. We are talking about our simple projects, our 5-page websites. One of our project managers right now is working on like it's a project where there's a video editing, a landing page, and what else? Digital flyer. So like 3 kind of little pieces. That would be a simple project. Once we get into more complicated projects, one of our women right now is working on, and our project managers is working on an e-course that's kind of intensive. It's a little more intensive than we actually thought it was going to be. And so in those scenarios, it was 2 phases and pay per phase, or even some of our longer projects. There's an app development that Mitch is working on closing right now, and it's probably going to be a 6-month project. At least in those cases, we'll break it down monthly. Like we don't want somebody working on a project for 6 months before they get paid. So that's just not how we want to do things. So, and that would vary based on the project. So the 135 is for the really simple projects that should be done in theory so a web page should take 6 weeks at the most. But like the amount of hours that we were having clocked was somewhere around 10-ish hours, 10 to 12 hours per project. Okay. And we also realize that might not be accurate. So we ask you guys to also track your time. And so because for example, if a project should only take 10 hours, but let's say there's a whole bunch of things that get in the way and you spend 40 hours on that project, we don't want to pay you $135 if it ended up being a more complicated project than it should have been.
Of course.
Okay. So that being said, we also do pay for the weekly project manager meetings, which will start once we're done with all of the training phases for you. And so once a week on Wednesdays, right now, It's at 5 p.m. EST on Wednesdays.
Perfect.
And that may change in the future, but right now that's the time, that slot that it's at.
Yeah.
It's a 1-hour meeting, and we do pay you an hourly rate of $8 an hour to attend that meeting. All of the meetings that are like associated with your project, those just count as part of the project time.
Okay.
Okay, so that's all in the contract. We reviewed the contract a little more in depth during the training where you had a hard time with the Wi-Fi, and so you weren't able to make it.
Okay.
And so I wanted to go over, and it goes over like a quick company overview, and then it goes over kind of our code of ethics, which are in the contract, and so I'll breeze over them really quickly. So you can read over them in the contract as opposed to me reading through each one with you. The
Yes.
code of ethics is pretty standard. Like, hey, you shouldn't do illegal things. You shouldn't be a jerk to people. You should, like it's really pretty standard and basic.
Mm-hmm.
Important, but I think that you'll be able to read over it and understand it entirely.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me pull up the presentation that you missed.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And then I'll share my screen. I'll share my screen first. I have a lot of screens open right now. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of our company overview, our company history.
Hey, quick question.
Yes.
Is it okay if you share those presentations with me at some point?
You want to see the actual, like have the actual, like the presentation slides?
Yeah, and the documents we went through, like the processes, the presentation you did with us yesterday, I just really like to consume all the content that's training related or company related before even taking any projects. It's just, what do you think? That would be good?
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. I'm just writing myself a note right now.
Yeah, thank you.
So what I will probably do is just create a folder with those in them.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I know you guys are, I'm going to call you a test group, and I don't mean to that in a bad way at all.
No.
Is that as we're changing the training, we're learning what we need to do, and I think having those documents available right for you guys is a really great suggestion as far as how to make it more hands-on and relatable as we're training.
Yeah, it's just easier for us to study. So I mean, some people is really good at remembering things just on a phone call. But in my case, I need to,
I'm a note taker as well. And so one of the things that I think I want to create as we're improving our training is like note sheets with like covering the major details. So we can, if people feel more comfortable with that, everybody learns differently, right? So having different ways.
Exactly.
Is helpful. Yeah, absolutely. I will create like a little shared folder, and I will give you access. It'll just be a Google Drive folder, and I'll give you access.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay, so again, in the interest of time and because it's just you, feel free to interrupt with any questions or anything. But I just want to give you a little overview of our company. I might have, or Mitch might have touched on some of this during the interview process because we cover it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So My Fit Coach was established in 2016 by Mitch and I. We both have a fitness background. Mitch has something like, I don't know, his whole life. He started his fitness and his personal training, I want to say, gosh, at least 15 years ago. So we really have a passion for fitness. But what we started with was we were working with an app that was designed for fitness coaches and personal trainers to use with their clients. So the idea was like, oh, like it's really cool when you're training your clients in the gym, but you're not reaching them in between. So if they train with you once a week or twice a week, what are they doing in between? What are you providing them? And a lot of times they were putting like this tedious amount of work into creating all of these documents and nutrition guides and everything. And so the app was designed to simplify that. And you could put workouts right in there, assign them to certain clients, and then you'd have that workout in there always. So you could assign it to a different client if it was appropriate. You could create a workout schedule like, oh, okay, they're training with me on Mondays and Wednesdays, but I'm going to give them 2 more workouts, one that they do on Friday and one that they do on Saturday, or whatever their schedule was. They could put it in there and schedule it and all that stuff. Also, what this did was it allowed them to start working with people who weren't in their location. And so it really, there's a limit as a personal trainer, as a fitness coach, as a gym owner, as to how many clients you can see, because your time is limited, because there's just only so many hours in the day. And you're usually working for people who work with a chunk of hours in the morning and then a chunk of hours right after work time. But there was all this time kind of in between that there were only a few clients that were available. So personal trainers were really limited in the amount of clients they could bring in. And this was opening the door for, you could actually train somebody who's across the country or even across the world with this app. It doesn't have to be somebody that you sit down with, and you don't have to be present for the time when they're working out. It also provided for the clients like a more affordable way to get personal training designed for them. So they would pay, let's just say $50 a month, and they would have all of these specific customized workouts and nutrition plan put into the app for them. They're not paying nearly as much as they would if they were hiring a personal trainer in person, but they're getting the customized approach of that. So the app was great. Our clients loved it. Our coaches and personal trainers loved it. What we found out through the process is that most of the coaches we were working with were great at fitness. They could help people reach their goals. They knew what they were talking about, but they had zero business experience. So they didn't have any knowledge of marketing, branding, or business in general. My very favorite example is one of the coaches we worked with, and we still work with him at a different level now. He didn't have a bank account.
Wow.
It was just like that. There's no business structure at all. And so we were trying to help people grow their businesses, but they didn't have that foundation in place. So we really saw a need there, and we decided to meet it in that case. So in 2017, we were still operating as MyFit Coach, but we started to expand to business and marketing consultation, website design, brand management, digital marketing and advertising, all these pieces that the coaches and the gym owners really had no knowledge of at all. MyFit Coach was actually the name designed for the app, but it no longer fit the company. So that's when we switched over to MyFit Brand to focus on the marketing solutions for health and wellness professionals too. So we also have there's a chiropractor that we work with, and we're working at establishing relationships with doctors. So not just this, but people kind of just in the health and wellness field as well. Massage therapists are on the list as well. Okay. So what then happened is we grew very organically. So our clients began to send us referrals for friends and family members who ran different types of businesses. So one of our coaches' father had a not-for-profit business and they needed a website. And one of the people we worked with, they make handmade gun holsters for military personnel and police officers and things like that. And they were referred to us through one of our current clients. So we're still pretty young at this time. We're also really still passionate about health and wellness, but we also were like, yes, we'll create a website for you. We weren't going to turn down business because it was in a different niche market. So we really actually have enjoyed that. And I think it's because it's happened so organically. It's been a really great process. So now our client list includes all sorts of health and wellness professionals, but we also have just shops that sell things. We have counselors, direct marketing professionals, sports coaches, the hype apparel stores. So a whole bunch of different companies that have that have kind of joined. And so at that point, we needed to rebrand. And because those clients weren't in the health and wellness business. And so My Fit brand seems like a really silly company name for them. But My Fit brand was already semi-established, and we still wanted to make sure we were reaching and focusing on that health and wellness industry because we're so passionate about it. So instead of changing our branding entirely, we kind of created sister companies. So My Fit brand isn't still in existence. Our clients who are in the fitness world work under that company name. And then Ataria is the side of it that handles kind of everybody else, for lack of a better way to say that. So one big umbrella, two different companies underneath it. So we keep growing. This year has been just a really big year for growth, bringing on a bigger team. So we went from having only 2 project managers to about 10. Now we're bringing the team that we're just in the process of training with you and Jay and Sammy and Mark and Cecilia coming on as well. We hired a project manager officer. You will get to meet him in the near future. He is on a vacation and just getting back. And then we're bringing on additional salespeople. We're hiring new contractors, creating more relationships with more designers, developers, social media specialists, all of that. So we just continue to grow over this year. It's been a very exciting year.
Yeah.
Okay. Our mission and vision are actually super similar between the companies. So for Ataria, we want to maximize brand exposure for small businesses. We do this by building a collaborative network, providing high quality, low cost marketing tools and systems. Because our market is relatively small companies, keeping things low cost and affordable is part of what makes it doable for these companies to access really any sort of marketing services. Our vision statement is to become experts in the marketing field and to expand our portfolio in order to build a recognizable brand, to assist more companies in growing their business and maximizing their brand exposure. And the value proposition is your passion is our business. So with My Fit brand, the mission statement's almost identical, except that it's specific to health and wellness and fitness professionals. The vision statement's a little bit different though, and it's to change the landscape of the healthcare delivery system by integrating health, wellness, and fitness industries. So one of the really big picture visions that we have is to create a system and a network in which health professionals are working with fitness professionals, doctors have access to a network of highly qualified fitness professionals, chiropractors, massage therapists, all of these resources that really improve the health for their patients. And so kind of creating this network and a delivery system for that network. The value proposition is delivering integrated marketing solutions to the health industries. Okay. We have some pretty ambitious strategic objectives over the next 3 years. Internally, we want to build our team. We just really want to keep growing our team. We're very team-oriented, probably from a sports perspective. Mm-hmm. We want to continue to establish a culture of excellence, support, continuing education, and positive relationships, and develop solutions to bring more value to our clients. So it's one of the things that we talked about in the last meeting yesterday, was that we have the flexibility of a client needs something that we haven't done before. Let's figure this out. Can we do this? Mm-hmm. Right? So we really get to be flexible and creative in that way, and we love that. And then just continuing to grow our product portfolio, which has also grown pretty organically. Oops, sorry.
Thank you.
Externally, we want to continue to grow our customer base. So over the next 3 years, we're looking to increase our client base to 500. We expect that to be a very mixed grouping of customers. What I mean by that is some really small customers who just have like a basic website hosting sort of package, and then some really big customers who have huge apps that are running on a regular basis. We want to continue to build strong relationships and develop trust with clients. One of the ways we develop trust is by providing quality work.
Yep.
So that's where we're looking to continue to improve as far as our training and making sure everybody's well equipped to handle the challenges of each particular project.
Quick question, please.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So regarding the team and how I could bring value into the company. So I've done sales before, and I was thinking maybe if I could also join the sales team, or like, what do you think about that?
Let me do this for you. So Mitch is 100% the boss of the sales team as far as like understanding what that all is going on with that, but I am certain he would love to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
So
please.
I will start I'll start a Skype message with you both.
Yep.
And that way you guys can find a time to connect and talk about what that might look like. But I think that would be a great idea.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. So we want to continue to generate small and medium enterprises within our field and ultimately generate $4.2 million.
Yeah.
Which is, and by generate, and I really wish that sometimes I fly through things a little too fast. One of the things that we love and value and take very seriously is that we're providing work for people as well. Like this is an income. It's a way for people to support their families. So it's not just about like, end dollar for us, but end dollar that we're generating for our whole team.
Yep.
So the more we grow, the more that allows other people to be able to live the life that they're looking to live as well.
100%.
So here is our basic organizational chart. Some of the positions are yet to be filled as we're growing. It's a position we know we need and that we're working on. So there's Mitch as the CEO. He is also right now the acting director of sales and marketing over the sales managers, consultants, and then the marketers that we work with ultimately. And then I'm in the position of the president. I am currently the acting executive project manager. We are working on hiring for that position. The executive service manager is Alvin. You'll get to meet him probably in the coming weeks. So the project managers, the way we kind of break this down flow-wise, I know we talked about how at the end of a project we hand it off to a service manager. So that's generally the case. Sometimes we do that in a kind of agile project management style. So sometimes we're working on a project, for example, a website, and also the service team is working on some ongoing work for them at the same time. But generally speaking, main project gets done and then it gets handed over to service management. And then director of information technology. This is what we know as we're growing, we're needing to build out. We're needing to have somebody who's able to do more of that work into the resources that we need as a team in order to be able to do our job, do our work, do it well without that. And then, and we're changing our technology platforms so that we're always working with what is best for the team.
Good.
Okay. Our company culture and values.
Sorry, one question.
Yes.
Thank you. Could you explain the difference between the CEO and the president?
Yeah, that would be an excellent question. So our roles vary a little bit. And if you kind of see like the split down the screen. So Mitch is when we say CEO, so Chief Executive Officer, while we work in a partnership, this was originally kind of him. And I have more of so Mitch has more of I'm trying to think of the way to explain the difference between the roles.
It's complicated.
Yeah, so Mitch has more of a business-oriented role as far as the bigger picture. And my role is a little bit more like the functionality of making that bigger picture work.
Oh,
So,
okay. So let me just see if I understand.
uh-huh.
So CEO taking care of vision, and the president taking care of execution, kind of.
Yeah, that would be a good, and not that Mitch isn't in the execution role, but I think that that's a pretty good kind of grasp on that.
Approach.
Right
Okay.
now, as we're growing so rapidly, there's a lot of overlap.
Of course. Of course.
So, but the roles as they're defined are more that way. It's more me or the president, whoever that will be in coming years or whatever, would be in that position of really executing, putting plans into place and making them happen.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So this is my favorite slide because I think this is really important. What we value and what the culture that we're trying to create is just important to us as the work that we're putting out. Both are important, but in a lot of places, the end result kind of outweighs the internal environment, and we don't want that to be the case. We want them to hold equal value. So we value collaboration. We're one team. We collaborate with each other to create exceptional work. That means within pockets, so working with other project managers if we need to, and then also externally. Okay, the sales team needs to work with, externally within departments. The sales team needs to communicate well with the project managers. The project managers might need the expertise of a service manager. We're all one team and we all work together. The connection that we form, relationship with each team member and with each client, is valued and prioritized. We partnership. So we don't just work for our clients, we share their passion for their business's success. And that is one of the beauties of small companies, is being able to step into work with a small company. We are able to partner with them and really see where that can go, where this can grow to, where this can, be in a couple of years. And so it's really neat to be able to be part of that and to work together with the clients towards that. Continued growth in education. So we're continuously learning from our experiences. That's why this training has changed dramatically. And we, from experience, from training, and from each other's contributions. So we're really we are all growth oriented. When we're interviewing people, that's something we're looking for. So I know that that's something that you already intrinsically have, is this ability or desire to continuously improve and grow as a human being. Mm-hmm. So I think that's important.
Yeah.
Quality. So we strive to provide high quality products and services that exceed our clients' expectations. Creativity. We're a solution-oriented team working together to overcome barriers and reach our partners' goals. This is huge in the project management role because we are going to come across barriers, and we often have to find creative solutions to overcome those barriers, whether it's, I'm having a hard time getting the client to get the information I need, or I can't even get a hold of the client, or, the client wants this sort of idea on their website. What do we do to put that in place? So we definitely value that creative thought process. Mm-hmm. Efficiency, relying on each other's strength together to meet deadlines and deliver high quality products in a timely manner. And one of the best examples I can think of this is that I would never pretend to be a web designer. Mm-hmm. It is not my strength, and it would be really inefficient for me to try to design somebody's website. But I can work with a really great web designer and get their ideas, their feedback, and work with them to get the project done. A positive environment. Our team members are cheerful and happy to be in an environment that encourages them and helps them to grow. And respecting cultural differences. So we are global citizens, finding beauty in the differences in our skin tones, beliefs, and cultural practices. As you noticed in the group that we're training, people are from everywhere, right? We have project managers who are in the Philippines, who are in Egypt, who are in Canada, who are in the United States. We have people kind of in India. We have people scattered all over, and we do that intentionally because we think there's strength in that. There's strength in having men and women on a team. There are strength in having different cultures and different beliefs on a team, because it helps us to see things from different angles and solve things in different ways. And we also just think it's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Employee relations. So this is the part about the contract and then the tools that we use. There's going to be a thorough training on all of the tools that we use, but just kind of as a quick breakdown, we have our own webmail system. Excello is the project management system. We set each one of our employees of any type up with Text Now, which is a system where we can get you a local phone number that you interact with via the app on your phone. In some countries, you can't use the app, but you can still access it via the just the online interface.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great because a lot of our clients don't respond to email nearly as well as they respond to getting a text or a call.
Of course.
We use Slack for internal communication. For video conferencing, we use Zoom and AppearIn. I think we've used both with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the service management team uses a dashboard bridge product to help fulfill some of the services that we provide, like SEO or social media management, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to be really brief in going over the code of ethics. I'm not going to go through each one point by point with you. These are all written out in the contract, so I'd like you to look over them. If you have any questions, let me know.
Yes.
But just basically, we expect you to comply with laws, rules, and regulations associated with our business. If there are any conflicts of interest, I'm going to use a very silly example that actually doesn't relate necessarily to our country or our company, but one of our project managers, one of his jobs is that he is a model, and he was asked to model for a company that was a competitor of one of the companies he was working with.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, in that particular case, that was a conflict of interest, and he had to choose which one of those was more important. And so he turned down the modeling job in order to continue working with the company.
Of course.
Confidentiality, just basically, there are times where you're going to come across people's confidential information. You will probably not very likely have to come across some of their financial information, though that sometimes does happen if we're building in like payment processing systems or things like that. But there's also the confidential information, like just like logins to some of the programs that they use, or maybe we're integrating social media, and so we end up with their social media login. So keeping all that in mind, that is confidential information. We expect that to be respected.
Yep.
Honest, ethical conduct, and fair dealing. So we expect, I should actually be flipping through here. So we expect you to be a good human being and to deal honestly and ethically with everybody that we're dealing with, our customers, our contractors, etc. Not taking advantage of anyone, not manipulating things, not hiding information or misrepresenting information.
Yep.
Protection and proper use of opportunities. Again, not taking advantage of the resources that are provided through your position, including any property and that includes intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
Accuracy of books and records and public reports. For the most part, when it comes to books, the most that you'll be doing is submitting your own sort of timesheet. We won't have you be dealing right now at this stage where we are. The management of budget, etc., is done outside of project management, but we do expect, obviously, accuracy and honesty in that.
Of course.
Reporting and compliance. So if you feel that there's a violation at all to any of these codes, that should be reported to your immediate officer, whoever's directly above you. In your case, it would be the executive project manager. If that problem is with that person, you can skip over that person. You can always reach out to Mitch or I, if you need to, we expect to be held to these standards just as much as we want to hold others to these standards.
Yeah.
So if at any point in time you feel that there is something being violated, to bring that to the attention of the people above you.
Good.
Okay. I know I flew through that. You can read through every little word of the legalities of it in the contract if you would like to.
Yes.
But do you have any, I know you were asking some questions along the way, but do you have any other questions?
Yep. Regarding me getting actual projects, or how do I request them? How does that process looks like?
Okay, yep. And we'll cover that a little bit in some of the trainings moving forward.
Okay.
But once we go through the training process with the phases and everything, the projects get assigned by the executive project manager. Again, right now, me.
Mm-hmm.
It is based on skill set. It's based on personality. We make sure everybody gets one started relatively quickly once the training's done. We don't want you sitting around for like 4 months afterwards.
Of course.
And almost always start with a simple project. So your first project would not be a 6-month app development project. It would probably be a 5-page website, or like I was mentioning earlier, like the landing page combo sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And so that would happen relatively quickly after training, but we make sure we go through training and kind of a thorough assessment of whether or not the training stuck. Like you mentioned, like, okay, I want these documents to study. Did you learn about them? Or, I sometimes, and not with the group that we trained yesterday by any means, but sometimes there have been people where, like, I'm not even sure that they're in front of the computer when the training is happening,
Yeah.
So making sure, like, we'll make sure that everything's really stuck, and at that point we'll do the handing off of a project.
Mm-hmm.
The meeting that looks like would initially be with the salesperson who sold the product, the executive project manager, and you, so you can kind of get a really good idea of what the expectations for that project are, what were the deliverables that were promised, what's in the contract, that sort of thing.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so I am working on, and as we're doing this right now, we're kind of building the training as we go. We have all of the ideas of what we want in there. So I'm hoping through this process, what we'll do is every few days have the next section going. Ultimately, we're going to have it all automated so that people can go through it as quickly or as slowly as they need to. But for right now, we're kind of building as we go. So on Friday, we'll do the marketing, kind of like the marketing 101 class. And then we'll schedule the next one for probably early next week. So we'll try to get you through that part as quickly as we can.
Yeah. Any chance I can get started with the training now or something?
So it's not automated yet. Okay. So we're building as we're going right now. So good. I'm hoping to have, as we're going through like the ones that we're doing right now, I'm hoping to be building the other ones so that we can move quickly. Mm-hmm. Michelle, who is one of the women who does our training and also just kind of manages a lot of the administrative sort of tasks, is putting together one of the phases. So once that's ready, I will absolutely share it so that you can get started whenever you're ready.
Beautiful. And what could I do in the meantime?
Well, what we're going to do once we receive your contract, we're going to create your logins to our systems. So your email, your Excello account, all of that stuff. And so you can, start becoming familiar with Excello in particular and how to use it. Will definitely make the rest of the training a little bit smoother and easier for you. So that's a good next step. And then I'll put together a shared Google Drive so that you can have access to some of these documents and take a look at them.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. So next action items, I'll send you the signed contract, and then I'll wait for your instructions.
Yes, and we'll get that to you. Setting up all your accounts and everything is usually a quick turnover, so we'll get you all your logins and everything pretty quickly after that.
Fantastic. I'm ready. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Carlos. I'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.